Ever wonder how some of the biggest, most valuable companies in the world give their main product away for free? I mean, think about it. The games you play, the apps you use to learn a language, the social networks you scroll every day. How can something be both free and worth billions? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the very deliberate, very psychological, and very profitable economics of free.
Okay, let's just start with a number that honestly feels made up. $20 billion. That's the lifetime revenue of Candy Crush Saga, a game that, as you know, costs absolutely nothing to download and play. So, where is all that cash coming from?
Or how about this one? $7.7 billion. That's the valuation of Duolingo, the language learning app. An app that promises you can learn a whole new language without ever paying for a single lesson. Again, how? And finally, let's look at a true titan, $5.8 billion. Now get this, that wasn't Fortnite's total revenue. That was its revenue in a single year, for a game that completely flipped the script on the old model of paying for games up front. So what's the common thread here? They are all masters of the free economy. And that leads us to the big question we're tackling today. How on earth are they making all this money?
Before we even get into the business models, we have to talk about psychology. We have to understand the powerful, almost magnetic pull of the word free on our brains. It's not just a price, you guys. It's a psychological trigger. To really see this in action, let's look at this amazing experiment by behavioral economist Dan Ariely. So in scenario 1, people could choose between a fancy Lindt truffle for 15 pence or a basic Hershey's Kiss for just 1 penny. Most people, 73%, went for the better chocolate, the Lindt. Makes sense, right? A logical choice. But then, they just changed one tiny thing. They dropped the price of both by a single penny, which made the Hershey's Kiss free.
And the results? Whoa, they're just staggering. It completely flips. Suddenly, 69% of people are choosing the worst chocolate. Now think about it. The price difference is exactly the same, but that one little word, free, changed everything. Why? Well, Ariely calls free an emotional hot button. It gets us so excited that we just forget to think logically. And this little quirk in our brains, it's the foundation the entire free app economy is built on. So, how do companies turn this psychological quirk into cold, hard cash? Well, the first big strategy is something you've definitely seen before, the freemium funnel. Freemium, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a mix of free and premium. The whole idea is to make it incredibly easy to get started, like zero barrier to entry, by offering a basic, working version of the product for free. The goal, then, is to convince a small handful of those users to upgrade for more features, fewer restrictions, or just a better experience. Now here's where it gets kind of weird and seems like it shouldn't work. In most of these freemium apps, the huge majority of people, we're talking 95% or more, will never pay a dime. Looking at that, you think it's a total failure of a business plan, right? But this is the secret sauce. That tiny little slice of paying users, that 5%, they often generate 80% or more of the entire company's revenue. See, the free users aren't a waste of space. They're the marketing. They create the buzz, they tell their friends, they make the app feel alive and valuable. But the money? Oh, the money comes from that dedicated few. And this brings us to a term you hear a lot in the industry, whales. These are the super users, the top spenders who are so into the app that they'll drop hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars. And the numbers are just wild. In mobile gaming, the top 1% of players can bring in up to 70% of all the revenue. And remember Duolingo? Only about 9% of its users actually pay for a subscription, but that small group is responsible for about 80% of its income. It's incredible. Okay, so freemium is all about finding those whales among the masses. But what about those apps where almost nobody pays for anything? That brings us to this famous, and maybe a little creepy saying in the tech world. This idea is the bedrock of a totally different model, the two-sided market. And this is the engine that powers giants like Facebook, Google, and tons of other platforms you're scrolling through every day. So, put simply, a two-sided market doesn't really sell a product to you. Its whole business is to be the matchmaker. It brings together two completely different groups of people and makes money by connecting them. Let's break down how this actually works. On one side, you've got the users. That's us. As you can see, we give the platform our time, our attention, and, this is the big one, our personal data. And what do we get? A free service. Then, on the other side, you have the advertisers. They give the platform money, and the platform, sitting right in the middle, just connects the advertisers' money to our attention.
That's the business model right there.
And you gotta understand, this is way more than just showing you some ads. Your personal data itself is an incredibly valuable product. It gets sold, it gets analyzed for market trends, it's used to build these crazy detailed profiles about you. In fact, a 2018 study looked at hundreds of thousands of free apps and found that a shocking 9% of them used personal data collection as their only way of making money. No ads, no upgrades, just your data.
So these models have obviously been wildly successful, but they're not standing still. The future of free is actually evolving into something even more complex.
You can really see the evolution here, can't you? It started with freemium, which was all about getting a massive user base. Then you had the two-sided markets, which figured out how to turn our attention into cash. What we're seeing today are these hybrid models, where apps are using subscriptions and ads and in-app purchases all at the same time. And the next big thing? It's all about AI. Think dynamic pricing, where an app might offer you and your friend a totally different price for the exact same thing, all based on what it knows about you.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's this. Free isn't really a business model. It's a customer acquisition strategy. And honestly, it's probably the most powerful one ever invented. It gets millions of us in the door, and that's where the real money-making, whether it's from whales, advertisers, or our data, can finally begin. Which really leaves us with one final thought. The next time you hit download on a free app, it's worth taking a second to ask yourself, what am I really paying with here? Is it my time? Is it my attention? Is it my data? Because in the economy of free, one thing's for sure, nothing is ever truly without a cost.